Hi everyone, welcome to this little Telescript installation video. This is going to show you how to install your Telescript software. This applies to all three versions, Pro, AV, and Tech. I've already got Pro installed on here, but today I'm going to install Tech for you so you can get an idea of what you're going to experience when you do the installation. I'll also give you a couple of quick tips too about how to set up your computer just to make sure you get the best performance out of your software as well. So when you receive your software package, you're going to get a dongle, which is your unlocking dongle for your scroll, and you're going to receive a jump drive, which is going to have your installer on it as well as some documentation. You're going to go ahead and plug in the little USB drive. You'll find the folder on the jump drive. Depending on which software you've purchased, you'll have the installer on there. You've got some documentation in here also that you can kind of go through. There's also an installation guide on here and some keyboard commands that's kind of helpful, so you might want to take a look at that. But as far as the install goes, you go to the installer folder. The latest version of the software is here. Go ahead, we'll run that installer. Install here will go through, just go through the prompts. Accept your license terms. This is where you find all of your restrictions and license terms and warranty information for the software. Okay, once the installer is finished, just click Finish. And what you will now find after you've gone through, you'll have the icon for the software on your desktop, as well as this Sentinel Protection Installer. You need to run this installer as well in order for the computer to recognize the dongle. So go ahead and run that installer. Okay, once you've finished, you can get rid of that on your desktop. Just one note, if you're migrating from Windows 7 to Windows 10, you have to reinstall this driver. The Sentinel driver for Windows 7 is different from the one from 10, so if you're upgrading your software from 7 to 10, you'll need to run that software installer again. If you don't have it, you can just email us and we can get you the installer via email. So now that you've gone through there, if you go ahead and open your software, click No. So if you get to here and you get to this license code screen, that means that either A, you didn't install the Sentinel driver, or B, you don't have your dongle plugged in. So at this point, you can just click Demo Mode. You'll get to this splash screen. We'll talk about this in a minute. Close the software. And now go ahead and plug in your dongle. Once your dongle is plugged in, now you can run your software again. And you notice that you've now gone by the registration screen and you've landed on the splash screen at the start of Tech. Here's where you can just basically load your scripts and set your preferences and stuff. You can uncheck this if you don't want this window to come up each time you open up the software. We'll have other tutorial videos in the future, but for now, we're just going to go through the installation portion. What you can do is just to see if you ever need to know your license info. You'll see that it'll give you your serial number key for your dongle. That just shows that you're opening your software based on a dongle. One thing, if you have a dongle that becomes damaged, you can get a replacement dongle for a fee. The way it will work is you need to send us your damaged dongle, and in the interim we will issue you a temporary license code to cover the time between us getting the dongle from you and shipping out your new dongle. If you lose your dongle, you've essentially lost your license. Unfortunately, you will have to buy a new dongle, a whole new license. We will be able to issue you a temporary license code to cover your time between the purchase of the dongle and you receiving it, but just know that if you do lose your dongle, you lose your license, unfortunately. One other thing I want to mention about setting up your computers for Telescript. Right now I've got a 10-button controller. Plug that controller in. Your computer will automatically recognize the 10-button controller. Telescript will tell you that you've got your controller plugged in. One thing we like to do here is if you go to Device Manager, if you go down and you find your universal serial bus controllers, you will find a lot of these root hubs and generic USB hubs. If you click on them, right click, go to Properties, you're going to see a little Power Management tab. Windows comes pre-configured with this checked off. So what will happen is if your computer goes in a stretch of where no one's using it, it could potentially shut the power off to that USB port, which would mean that if your controller is plugged into that port, your controller would then become inactive. So in order to keep that from happening, just go through all of these and make sure you uncheck allow the computer to turn off this device to save power and click OK. Go through each and every one of these to make sure that you do that. Not all of them are going to have a power management tab, but it's just my recommendation to go through them all and make sure that you turn them all off. Another thing we like to do is go and find your sleep settings. And within those sleep settings, you're going to find all these where you're turning off your screen. Because these computers are strictly prompting computers, we basically never have the hard drive go to sleep or anything like that. So we just go ahead and we select never on pretty much all of these. We never want our computer to go to sleep. So that's another thing we like to do, and that is about it. So if you've got any questions about your installation, just shoot us an email, info@telescript.com. You can also call us 201-767-6733. You can get in touch with us that way. Thanks a lot.